So I first request Dr. Merine Paul to present her talk on networking and marketing in hospital practice. Dr. Merine Paul is a renowned cataract surgeon and a practitioner based in Thrissur. She needs no introduction. And over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Dr. Sanitha, for giving me this opportunity. And when she gave me this topic on networking and marketing, I went through it with the marketing people in our institution, and also looked up a couple of things on the net and realized that we are actually looking at a huge how would you call it, a huge speciality on itself. This is what people go for a 2-year MBA for, right? And we are finishing that in 12 minutes. So at the outset, I would like to tell you all that what I'm going to talk to you about is core, marketing and management techniques. You as doctors are not really meant to be doing all this, but you need to know this, because most of you are now and into the future, even in government institutions, will be managed by people who know management, and they will throw jargon at you. And when at that point, but remember, you are the leader of the team, not them. So when they are throwing jargon at you, you need to know what they are talking about. And unless you have a fair grasp of the subject, it becomes difficult. So why do we have been a community-based, individual doctor-based practice all these years, and now in the last 10 to 15 years, those things have changed, and there is an ongoing demise of the community practice. There's a lot of choices for patients, like they are like, you, if not the other. And that leads to increasing competition. And we have a kind of conflict in our minds because we have taken the Hippocratic Oath. And at the same time, you have, like I said, the MBA sitting on top of your head asking for target-related outcomes. And also the fact that what we were practicing was personalized medicine. It's moved on to protocol-based, mechanized medical care. And this also has affected the way we practice medicine. So what do you mean by networking? Because you finish your post-graduation or your fellowship and you move on to start working in a hospital. But to know your rights, your responsibilities, to be fully integrated into the community of ophthalmologists or whatever profession that you are in, you need to be in contact with other people in the same profession. So for that, you need to nurture and make connections within your professional network. And that is what networking basically is about. But also, we deal with the surgical industry, the pharma industry, so you need to have connections with them as well. If you want to do research, say you want to go into a multicentric research, you should know those people for the first, the first step to take to go into a collaborative effort. You need to know them. So again, that is also networking. So how do you go about doing this networking? This is what you're doing now, attending all these conferences, focus groups. That is where you meet people who are on the same page as you or have the same interests. Now I'll be moving on to a few, like I said, specific marketing techniques, which when we talk marketing, what we mean by marketing, what is advertisements and those kind of things. But conventional marketing and healthcare marketing are completely two different kettle of fish. Because healthcare marketing is guided by strict ethics. And so this is where I am telling you, you need to know what you should be doing so that because the MBAs who are managing this don't know this. So you are the ones who are going to be guiding them to do all this. So it has to be guided by strict ethics. And your main challenge when you're marketing your services, your hospital, is to build a trust within the community. And that is the main challenge. Like I said, because it is like, you do one eye here, I'll do the other eye free. No, that is not the way to, build trust. And incentive models, even though are being done, are not the best way to go about. Because you are undermining, it's like, cutting the branch you're sitting on. And ultimately, your marketing relies heavily on the quality of products or services that you are putting across to the consumer. While conventional marketing is not bound by any of these restrictions. Now, healthcare marketing has changed to a large way from conventional marketing techniques to an online or a digital type of marketing. And what happens when you invest money in marketing, in healthcare marketing, and without healthcare marketing is what I've tried to show in the slide. You don't get market research. You just spend money on, say, advertisements or this thing. You have no feedback as to are you getting your bang for your buck. And you have so much data, so you know exactly where your marketing is going. So this is where you need to use your MBAs to work out those data and get you all those Excel sheets back to you. And once you have an online marketing machinery in place, patients have easy access to you through your website, your social channels, etc. And you can attract more patients with much less, actually, online marketing is far cheaper than regular marketing. And you also get feedback. So how do you go about doing it? What are the ethical ways of doing it? So how do you highlight? So you can highlight all the feel-good stories that come from your hospital, your area of specialization, and even medicine in general, modern medicine in general. Highlight all the success stories. Talk about the positive news, which you can just highlight those. Something comes in the newspaper or in a YouTube channel or something, you can tag it and share it on your social media handles. If you are big enough and have a budget for a CSR, that's a great way to market yourself. And putting information out is one of the most critical, and it has to be like local or even hyper local, and you can add value to the information that you're putting out. And how would you what will you market? You can also market the expertise of your staff with all the latest technology devices that you have. You can say what sets your infrastructure up, differently. What do you have better than the other hospitals that is acceptable? And if you have accreditations, either national or international, that's also something which you can highlight. And specializations, like you have a pediatric ophthalmologist or any specializations in addition to the routine that you have in your hospital can also be highlighted. And employee engagement is a way, it was a fun way, like you have celebrated a birthday or an event in your this thing, put it out on Facebook. Now let us come to the bare bones of what marketing is all about. This is called the STP process, where they segment a whole demography is segmented into sections. Like these are young people, these are people with this kind of interest. So the demography is segmented into multiple segments. Then each segment is specifically targeted with a particular kind of information. And finally, with that, you position your product or your service. So once you have that, you have to devise the marketing strategies for that particular segment that you are targeting. So you can't just market to a whole general population. So once your target audience is identified, you establish an online presence. One very good way, no matter what you say, patients are much more happier to hear from other patients. So actively go behind patient testimonials. And you can also build partnerships. You can partnership with other, because we are exclusive, mostly are exclusive eye hospitals. You can partner with other healthcare institutions like multi-specialities or group practice. These are all possibilities that you can think of. You can have ethical relationship with pharma companies to subsidize or help out with corporate social. They also have CSR activities. So those cross subsidies can be done. And also engage with local community organizations. But at the end of it all, your approach should always be patient-centric, because patients should be at the center of your entire marketing exercise. And always try to measure the satisfaction the patient is getting out of, get feedbacks from the patients. And like I said before, the best marketing technique is providing excellent service. And number two, having a line of communication with your patient, because lot of misunderstanding is because of poor communication. So work on your communication skills. Learn how to talk to a patient in times of crisis, in times there is a problem. Think about it, practice it, and then you will be able to, imagine that you have had a, nucleus drop. How will I tell this to this patient? Think about it. Then you will know how to communicate the bad news better and in a more positive way. So finally, technology in healthcare marketing, like I already told you, there are a lot of digital marketing tools, telehealth services, and ultimately all this is about data. If you have enough data, you know where your marketing is going and what is happening with the money that you're spending on the marketing. So finally, it's very important when you say social media, that's a very, very generalized term. So what are people doing on social media? First, you have to understand that. So basically, the idea of sharing, all these WhatsApp groups and Facebook, etc., etc. So what people want is like they want to, bring valuable content to. They share this valuable content, and this defines themselves. They say, okay, I am this guy or the girl who is like, sharing this kind of particular type of information, and this is a way for them to stay connected, and it fulfills them personally on an emotional level, and also they do it to support brands and causes. So basic content matrix of what is there on digital marketing is it has to be either entertaining, inspiring, educational, and convincing. These are the core ideals of the marketing strategies. And again, depending on the age group, there will be a difference in how you target. So you also have to keep in mind legal and ethical considerations, especially patient confidentiality and privacy, comply with all the healthcare regulations, and stick to this thing. Finally, one word on, you have done all this, but you must also have something called as key performance indicators. These are the feedbacks and the reviews that you're getting from your public and or your target audience, and you have to devise continuous improvement strategies to make sure that you are getting where you want to be. Unless you keep revising it, it becomes practically impossible, because you're dealing with large amount of data. It becomes very impossible to know where your marketing strategy is going. So in conclusion, I would like to say, as doctors, remember, don't fall into the trap of the MBAs, stay ethical and ensure that your marketing is ethical. And remember, this is not a one-time this thing. You'd pay something and get a marketing done. It is an ongoing and a continuous nature of this effort. So have professionals do it. You should not be doing it, but you must oversee it. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Merine, for that interesting topic. And as Dr. Merine would be leaving now for another presentation, if you have some questions, maybe you can entertain a couple of questions.
How aggressively would you suggest that we should look at Google reviews?
See, Google reviews is a double-headed thing, right? The good patients don't leave reviews. The bad ones do, okay? So, the idea is to be proactive. I would suggest that every good patient that you have get them to leave a review, because it is an average. So if you have, say, 100 good patients and one guy is going to give you a negative review, your rating will come down to 4.9. It doesn't matter, because people only look at the number of stars. But this is why I'm saying it is a professional work. You'll have to have one dedicated person to sit there and do the reviews, because the people who are happy will never leave it. So you have to be, like we keep thinking, oh, this is like, let them give Google review. No, it doesn't happen like that. You have to have dedicated professional help for it. That is why it is only possible with these corporates. Individual practitioners is very, very difficult. I would suggest don't encourage anyone to leave a Google practicing.
I'll just share with you my experience. 2018, when I was leaving Narayana Nethralaya in Bangalore, there were about 2,000 odd reviews. Today, if you check, there are 55,000 reviews, and almost all of those reviews mention a specific doctor by name, usually a staff by name, so you know that it is not some deep fake kind of thing. It is genuine reviews. And compared to other large organizations like Shankar Nethralaya or Shankara, they are at 1,500 to 2,000 reviews. So this is one organization which all of you would have seen has risen in prominence. 2003, when I joined NN, it was probably fourth or fifth in Bangalore, forget Karnataka. Now it is competing at fourth or fifth in the nation. So steep increase, and among the other things that have been contributing to its success has also been the fact that this kind of reviews, there are dedicated people to look after it.
One more question, ma'am, if you mind. What do you think about the role of subsidized surgeries, free eye cams as a tool for marketing? There have been a lot of discussions going on, and it's a double-edged sword. Like, we know that people get to know about your hospital more, but again, as you told, we are undercutting our services. We are cutting the branch in which we sit.
So on a personal note, I'm really against free surgeries. Subsidized is different. But because the government is having that CASP program, so if you're getting the money from the government, try to do all the subsidized surgeries through the CASP. I think that makes sense, because if you don't do it, somebody else is going to do it. So there's no point in reinventing the wheel, and we cannot, because this thing is a genie which should never have been put out of the jar, because once you opened it, now it will never ever go back. So you have to play with what you got. But free surgeries, free camp surgeries, I'm totally against it. Because I don't think anybody in Kerala especially is so poor that they cannot afford, a cataract surgery. But definitely, I think, yes, there is a role for subsidized surgeries.
Those of you, another point that you mentioned, ma'am, was about the MBAs and marketing. So some of you would remember in the news a few years back, a couple of doctors were suspended by the TCMC. Their photographs came up in advertisements, etc. So the ethics of advertising is you can put your picture up when you're leaving a current organization, joining a new organization, or if there is a new skill that is added or a new equipment that is come there. But just like that, to put your photograph in the newspapers, that is not
somebody
ethical.
can sue you for that. So exactly like Dr.
No, the
Matthew
IMA will take off your suspend your
Correct.
license for 6 months.
So this very important. Like I said, remember that you are the leaders of the team. Don't let them dictate terms. You should know. That is why you should know what is ethical, what is not ethical. So that is very important.
Thank you.
Suspected, say complaints of a foreign body in the conjunctiva comes at night, and you look through the slit lamp, and you don't see, you suspect a subepithelial erosion of the cornea, and you don't take out the foreign body, and that goes to a optometrist run hospital, and they say that they've taken out a foreign body. So what is your comments about it?
That's not within the purview of my talk right now, but having said that, an optometrist has no business taking out a foreign body.
No, that is true, but they employ a part-time doctor.
If that person is an ophthalmologist?
SPK was fully diagnosed by at night by doing a fluorescent staining. But the other guy takes out a foreign body and shows them there is a foreign body in your eye.
So I would suggest that you make proper notes. Everything is now about having proper documentation. So if your documentation is okay, I think nobody can hurt you.
And this fact about this TCMC suspending some doctors, I think it happened in Karnataka, not in Kerala, to my knowledge.
Happened in Kerala, actually.
When was it?
Late 18 or early 19.
Some ophthalmologist.
Not ophthalmologist.
Okay.